Well, hey, Southern Oregon, welcome back to the Real Estate Show. So glad you could join us again today. I'm Alice Lima. I'm a broker here in beautiful Southern Oregon with John L. Scott Real Estate and your host of the show. And today we get to welcome back Kimberly London of City of Medford, Development Services Specialist in the Building Department. We love having these folks on the show every so often during the year. They bring us up to speed on what's going on, changes in codes, permits, and just having good practices with your construction. Before we bring Kimberly in and start firing off all the questions, let's check the local stats because we've got some changes since last week. Klamath Falls, this is year over year prices. We've got an increase of 8% in the prices in Klamath County. Average residential home is now $327,103. But the number of solds year over year in Klamath County are down 25%. The number of listings in Klamath County are down 17%. And the foreclosures closed in the last week are 0. The number of short sales closed in Klamath County in the last week are 0. And we're now tracking the $1 million sales, and Klamath County had $0 million sales closed last week. Let's go to Josephine County. So Josephine County prices year over year are dead even. So we have a 0% change. That means that a average price for a residential home in Josephine County will now cost you $453,466. The number of solds year over year in Josephine County are also down 19%. The number of listings are down in Josephine County 11%. We have 0 closed foreclosures in Josephine County this week, 0 closed short sales in Josephine County, and 0 closed $1 million sales in Josephine County this week. Let's get to Jackson County. Now, here's a tiny bit of good news because last week was sad. So Jackson County this week, year over year, the prices are up 1%, and we'll take it. The average price of a residential home in Jackson County will now cost you $502,020. The number of solds, though, in Jackson County year over year are still down 29%. Number of listings are still down 18%. We have 0 closed foreclosures in Jackson County this week, 0 closed short sales in Jackson County this week, and 0 closed $1 million sales in Jackson County. So folks, we still have a shortage of listings. I know it's tough out there, but you know what? We still have a few more buyers than sellers. So get your house on the market and stay tuned for Kimberly London. Don't touch that dial. Well, welcome back, folks, to the Real Estate Show. I'm Alice Lima, broker John L. Scott here in beautiful Southern Oregon. And today we're interviewing one of my favorite people in the whole world, Kimberly London from City of Medford. She's the Development Services Specialist. Welcome back, Kimberly.
Thank you so much. It's good to be here.
Yeah, we just love having you on. And here we are just kind of at the end of the first quarter, beginning of the second quarter. The weather's changing. And I believe it is Safety Month.
Yes, May is Building Safety Month. It's also 110th anniversary of City of Medford building permits.
Is it really?
Yeah, 110 years we've been issuing building permits in the City of Medford.
Wow. So we have so much to talk about, and we definitely want to talk about the Building Safety Month, but we also love hearing how the permit issuing is going compared to what it was. Can you bring us up to speed on that?
Sure. So year to date, we have had 57 single family dwelling permits issued, and we've had 15 ADU, which is accessory dwelling units, second houses, little houses on properties. 11 of those used our SDC reduction program. There is a grant available to help pay the costs, the permitting costs for ADUs. And if you qualify, then you can get pretty much your fees cut in half.
Wow.
An ADU. There's also readily available plans this is on planning department's website. So it's not building department, it's under planning department. But if you're thinking about building an ADU, there's readily available plans that have already been pre-approved on their website. And if one of them works for you and you like it, and you're not going to modify it at all, you can get your plan check fee reduced in half also. So there's another saving, and it's a big saving because you don't have to draw the plans yourself or obtain someone to draw the plans for you.
Well, and also there's a huge amount of time involved, even if you use one of those, apps to do the floor plans, it takes time.
Yes, it does. And then these are already correct. So it doesn't even have to go back for corrections. The only thing that you have to do is your site plan. So you want to make sure that's as perfect as it can possibly be so that we can get this through the system and it's a smooth transaction.
Wow. Do you have a feeling for how long permits are taking to get approved for ADUs? Just throwing that question out.
No, that's fine. Residential permits as a whole are traditionally 15 days. 15
oh, that's really fast.
Days. So 3 weeks.
That's really fast.
Submitted everything that we need to do the review, you should have your permit in 15 days. With that being said, if you do utilize the reduction grant program for the SDC fees, that does take longer because there's deeds involved, recording documents. There's a lot more work on this end for our planning department, Sheila specifically. So I always stick with 30 days. Traditionally, it's less than that, but I mean, it's the cost of getting, doing business and getting a reduced fee. That's still an excellent time frame.
It really is. I mean, I hear people talking in other municipalities and other parts of the country, and they're waiting 3 and 4 months.
Yes.
Yeah. So again, very proud of you guys, City of Medford, and you just rock. It's wonderful. So SDCs, not everybody knows what that means. Can you just backtrack a little bit and talk about what those are?
Sure. There's along with your building permit fees, there's impact fees. And that's for the streets, sewer, storm drain, our parks. There's also a school CET that isn't reduced to go to schools on any new construction. So those are the systems development charges, impact fees that are associated with any new construction, residential or commercial. And I'll just put it out there, an ADU, if you came in and asked me how much the permits are going to be, I always ask people to budget between $10,000 and $12,000. And that includes your building, electrical, mechanical, plumbing, permits, and inspections. It also includes if you have to pave your driveway, if you have to do sidewalks, if there needs to be a new sewer tap at the street. The only fee that's not included is your water meter if it needs to be upgraded and or a separate water meter needs to be installed. That's also your inspections as well. So with the ADU program, the grant program, it does cut those fees pretty much in half.
Wow,
So
that's amazing.
Yeah, $4,500 to $6,000 to build a second dwelling ADU on your lot within the city limits of Medford.
And it sounds like it's only adding a week or two.
Yeah, to the time frame for the review cycle, yes.
Wow, that is awesome. So 57 new residential permits for single family dwellings.
Correct.
Does that feel like it's busy in that department, or does it feel slower?
Well, it's not busier. Traditionally, we average doing 14 permits a day. People don't realize that. They call a month later and I don't really remember their project or their name because we do about 14 permits a day.
Okay.
So if you break it down that way, it's quite a few. I mean, some of those are little, permits, electrical panel upgrades, heating and air upgrades. If you have your air conditioner replaced, now that we're getting into the warm season, it really does need a permit. Most heating and air companies take care of that permit for you.
They
But
do, yeah.
ask him for a copy of it so you could have it with your homeowner's records. If you ever need to file an insurance claim or need that for some reason, even reselling your home, if you have all that documentation together, it makes it easier and it's less stressful for you.
Yeah, yeah. When somebody's getting your permits for you, definitely a good idea to ask for copies. But I
Yes,
think, aren't there copies on your website?
yes. You
Okay,
can
so
go.
how do they get those if they
Sure.
can't get their service provider to do it?
No, no problem. And actually, if you're looking at purchasing a home or you're looking at selling your home, or just have questions on permitting, you want to know what your neighbor next door is doing, but you don't want to ask them, you can go onto the City of Medford's website.
Because they're public record.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. So www.medfordoregon.gov, and right on the very first screen, online services, building permits. You just click building permits, and then on the second screen, you click on building permits online services, and it says to schedule inspections, to pay permit fees, but it's also the same link to view permit history. Then once you get on it, it says select permit, and you're like, I have no idea what the permit number is, but there's a drop down. You can look by the APN, assessor parcel number, and you can also look by the address. Most people search by address, and you want to keep it simple. You don't want to say Queen Anne Street, because what if we have it in there as Queen Anne Avenue? And what if we have Queen Anne as one word, not two words? So just type in Queen, and there is a Queens Road in the City of Medford, so it'll give you everything. And then just look for your address. It's going to give you any of the permits from 1997 to current for that address. You can click on it and see what it is. If it's additional, if there's additional information, or if you want information on a property dating back to 1961 to current, that is also considered readily available history. That
Wow.
we can research and give to you for free. Now, I'm not talking about the Rogue Valley Mall or Medford Center or a large commercial structure, because that's time consuming, hours of research, and that's something you're going to need to pay for. But for a single family dwelling, we don't charge for that service.
That's
So
awesome. Your website is amazing. So folks, we're talking to Kimberly London, City of Medford Development Services Specialist, one of our favorite guests. So going back to the permits, 57 in 3 months, that is a little light. Anybody worried about that, or is it just the normal winter slow part?
I mean, it's definitely a reduction from last year.
Oh,
And
is it?
Yeah, so like last month, March, we had 19 single family dwelling permits issued. Last year, March, we had 41.
Wow, that's a big difference.
So it is, but they're still coming in. I mean, there's still projects, there's subdivisions opening up. They're coming. There's still a lot of new construction. I mean, 19 new houses, permits issued for housing last month. I don't consider that bad.
Okay, well, that's good. That's good. And it does feel like it's picking up a little bit. And then 15 ADUs in the last permits issued
this year. Yeah.
Yeah. Is that considered light, or is that picking up some steam?
It's the ADU program's picking up steam.
Cool.
It ran out once and they were able to get more grant funding to help with this program, because it's an excellent way to have additional income and rentals, creating more rentals.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Lots of multifamily. Oh my gosh, lots of multifamily. We've issued permits this year for 35 multifamily buildings, which is creating a total of 346 units.
Wow. Wow. And that's just in our municipality. Wow.
Yes. And that's not including the big Northgate, apartment complex coming up.
Wow. Well,
That's
yay.
Yeah. I mean, that one's coming and it'll be more.
Yeah.
That's anything 4 units or larger.
Yeah, I'd be curious to find out on the ADUs, if those are for family members, or if they're going to put them into the rental pool, for additional housing.
Either or qualifies. What does not qualify is Airbnb
Right,
and
because that
short-term
doesn't,
rental. Mhm,
yeah, yeah.
mhm.
And Airbnb is considered under 30 days. Is that correct? Short-term rental?
I'm not exactly sure what plannings
I think that is, yeah, I think that's kind of
are
the
code.
standard.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
No
If you do it,
short-term rental.
yeah, if you're doing less than 30 days, that's what counts. So we've got just about a minute left, and you happened to mention before we went on the air that you're doing a real estate class for the agents.
Yes, it's a necessary new agent training, May 16th. It's going to be here at the city at the Prescott Room at the police department. And you get your credit. It's through RVAR, Rogue Valley Association of Realtors. So you get your 2 hours of credit. So if you need any continuing education credit, I am actually have a slideshow. I'm going to show you how to look up permits online, how to look them up yourself, just about the building department, non-permitted work. I always have funky pictures of stuff that that people love. No, this is really something here.
I'm so glad. Yeah. And the agents who are experienced should go to this too. We got to take a quick break. So hold that thought, Kimberly. We're talking to Kimberly London, City of Medford Development Services Specialist. We've got more to chat about here. So do not touch that dial, because we will be right back after this quick word from our sponsors. Don't go away. Well, hey, Southern Oregon, welcome back to the Real Estate Show. We're talking to Kimberly London of the City of Medford. She's the Development Services Specialist. And right before the break, we were starting to talk about real estate agent training that Kimberly does. And this is so super important. It happens to be for new agents, but we're thinking we should have some of the more experienced agents go as well, because you were telling me during the break, sometimes you're seeing things online that you shouldn't, huh?
Yeah, I've actually pulled, whenever we have something that does not have permits, I've been pulling the listings, and a lot of times it's on the listing, showing it as part of the listing, especially ADU. 2-family setup, 2 houses on 1 lot, when actually it's not legal. As 2
Oh,
houses on 1 lot, we don't legally recognize the second kitchen, or it was a code case a few years prior, and they had to remove the kitchen. And now all of a sudden the property is listed for sale with that kitchen back in there.
oh, wow.
So I saw someone had put 2 kitchens, buyer's agent do their own diligence. And I thought, very smart way of wording it. Because you just, you didn't put that it was legal, you didn't put that it was illegal, you put that you need to do your own research to come to the conclusion on what is legal and not legal. A lot of older homes have 2 kitchens.
They used to back in the day.
Yes,
Yeah.
butler's pantry. It was normal, but walling that off and now all of a sudden having 2 units is not legal. I don't have my fire separation between the structures.
Yeah, I was just going to ask what
Yeah.
the reasons were, and it's because of safety. Is that what you're saying?
It's 100% safety, from the building department aspect. We want you to be able to make extra money. We want, a lot of people are using them, especially with the interest rates so high right now. If there's a second dwelling on that lot, you can use that rental income as part of your purchasing power to qualify to buy homes. So there's different ways, but if it's not legal and you're getting down to close of escrow and the lender or the appraiser are asking me to confirm or show them copies of certificates of occupancy for these secondary dwellings, and I can't produce it because it's not legal, then we're kind of back to square one. And
Yep.
the new buyer is stuck with that non-permitted, non-conforming ADU and the
Yeah.
fees associated with it. And that's really not fair.
And I don't think people realize the whole reason we want the City of Medford safety team involved is because we're talking about wiring, we're talking about sewer, What else are we talking about? But it all has to do with somebody from your office going out and verifying that it's a safe place for somebody to habitate.
Right, that it meets minimum code, and with the fire separation, that doesn't mean a lot to people, but a perfect example of fire separation is the fire that occurred at Poplar Square quite a few years ago,
Oh, yeah?
where it burned down a large portion of it, and there were people still in there getting their yogurt, getting their hair done. They did not realize that the whole roof was on fire because our fire separation between those units had been breached by drilling for wiring or plumbing, or I'm not going to put one specific group of contractors in there, but there was a breach in the fire separation in the attic area that caused that fire to spread without anyone actually occupying the units to be aware of that. That
Wow.
would be the same scenario on a house. If
Mhm.
you have someone next door to you, even a duplex has fire separation, attached single family dwellings have fire separations between them. What if they leave their barbecue going or their candles lit, or if there's just faulty wiring, who knows what, and their unit catches on fire? You want that extra time to be able to get out of the structure. You want that extra time for someone just walking down the street or driving down the street to be able to bang on your door for you to be able to get out. What if you're in the shower? What if you're asleep? You know, you just don't, or get your pets out. I mean, I'd go back
Yeah.
in 10 times to get the animals out of the building.
Yeah, it can be really scary. And I think people don't realize that. And, as you're talking, your website is so easy to access. I'm wondering if tenants might want to start checking out, because I don't know that all the property managers are doing that. And then if something tragic happens that might have been avoided just by a quick click on your website, boy, we sure want people to be doing that.
And seeing if it's legally 2 units. Absolutely. The codes go with the structure. There are a lot of apartments and housing units that met the code at the time they were constructed. They do not meet current code at all, and they might not have the appropriate fire separation between the units because it met the code at the time it was constructed.
Oh,
So
now that's
there's
another good
that
point.
aspect also to look at. So if you're in a really old home or a really old apartment, at one point it did meet the code. With that being said, for tenants, your landlord absolutely, or property manager, cannot do any electrical or plumbing on anything rented. So if you have a rental and there's electrical issues, that's beyond a light bulb or a light fixture or just a simple plumbing leak, I would hope to see a licensed electrician or plumbing contractor out there. The handyman or the maintenance company or the property owner cannot do any electrical or plumbing work on rentals. It must be someone licensed for those trades.
Oh, that is so good to know, because I I just don't think the word gets out about that.
No, and people have been used to doing their own maintenance on their own properties. I understand that completely, but we've all rented at some point in our life a place that we know was not. I mean,
Safe.
every time you plugged in an outlet, it shocked you, or you knew you had to unplug the microwave if you were going to blow dry your hair. That is not acceptable.
That's not okay. Yeah.
No, there's
that's not
something wrong
okay.
there.
Yeah.
And I'm
And
not saying they can't do it. Maybe they are very capable of doing it, but legally they cannot.
And the tenants can't do it either.
No, absolutely not. No, they cannot. And I mean, they can do some stuff. If the property owner is authorizing them to re-roof the house or add or remove a wall or replace sheetrock or something like that, I have to have the owner's authorization in writing. But the tenant and landlord can work together that way on some of the maintenance repairs, as long as it's not electrical or plumbing.
Wow, that's so good to know. And we'll definitely help get the word out on that as realtors. So when is the realtor training class that you're doing at Prescott?
It is May 16th from 2 to 4. It's here at City Hall in the Prescott room. You do need to sign up with the Rogue Valley Association of Realtors to get your continuing education. If you just pop in and you don't sign up because you think you're in the area or you have time, you can give me your business card and I'll make sure that they get the card so that you can get credit for your 2 hours of continuing education. Absolutely. It's in the big room. We're going to have space. So I'm okay with that. And I'll make sure, as long as you give me your card, that I get that back to the Rogue Valley Association of Realtors so that you can get your 2 hours of credit.
Because they want to make sure you were there.
Absolutely.
No,
and I
no
want to make
cheating.
sure you were there. Yeah.
Yeah. And it sounds like Kimberly only has 37 agents signed up and the room is huge. So we'll definitely put the word out about that as well. May 16th from 2 to 4. The real estate agent training class, necessary new agent training. That'll be good. We would like to see some of the experienced agents there too, right?
Yeah, it's even if you've already been, it's only 2 hours. I mean, and it's fun and you get continuing education. I do have new slides that I'm going to show. We're going to determine what's exempt from permits, and what common remodels that occur that do need permits, that don't need permits.
That'll be good. Yeah.
What's considered a bedroom, real estate code, building code are not the same on that. So
people don't know that. Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
Well, and things change, and as an agent, if you've been in the business for a few years, it's really worth your while to attend these trainings just to be brought up to speed. We're right in the beginning of the spring selling season, and a lot of things are new and different, which brings me to another question. You had mentioned something about the EV, the electric vehicle infrastructure, and I hadn't heard about that. So what's going on?
Well, state of Oregon for multifamily complexes and all commercial new construction projects need to make 20% of their parking electric vehicle ready.
Really?
Pretty much in a nutshell. Not have it up and running, but it needs to be ready. You need to show it on your plans where your 20% of your parking spaces are going to be electric vehicle ready, like the underground conduit. You don't have to follow through with the whole, having it up and running at this point, but it does have to be ready. Any new construction, multifamily and commercial projects that have a parking lot.
Let me just interrupt real quick. So you're saying new construction, does that mean new construction of multifamily or new construction residential?
No single family residential at all at this point.
Okay.
It's only commercial buildings and multifamily, which multifamily is considered a commercial building, so it does run under the commercial code anyway. But the state says 20% electric vehicle ready. The City of Medford multifamily, which is 5 or more units for planning code, must be 40% multifamily ready. So if you're doing an apartment complex, 6 detached sixplexes, if they're going on the same city lot and there's 5 or more units, you are going to have 40% of them electric vehicle ready. It's called parking infrastructure implementation, but I'm just going to say electric vehicle ready because that's English to me.
Right. And it's interesting because there's still a lot of us that didn't know what EV meant, and people would say it real fast and we weren't really sure what they're talking about, but it's the electric vehicle. So we're talking to Kimberly London, the City of Medford Development Services Specialist, and the electrical vehicle readiness. You're saying they have to be 40% prepared. Is that right?
for multifamily, which is
Yeah, which
5
is
or more units on the same tax lot.
and commercial. Well, that's really interesting. And yeah, good to know. That's why we got to have you on several times a year, Kimberly.
Well, thank you.
So we're going to have to take a quick break. We're gratefully brought to you by the Rogue Valley Association of Realtors, also known as ARVAR, Guy Giles Mutual Mortgage, and our local John L. Scott, Ashland and Medford. Thank you so much to all of you for making this possible every week. We're going to take a quick break to hear from our sponsors, and we'll be right back talking to Kimberly London, City of Medford Development Services Specialist. Don't go away. Well, welcome back to the Real Estate Show, folks. We're talking to Kimberly London today, City of Medford Development Services Specialist. Thanks for being on the show again, Kimberly.
No problem.
So in the last few minutes that we have left, let's talk about some of the events and things that the City of Medford is involved with in the near future.
Perfect. We have a Southern Oregon Home Show coming up next month, May 5th, 6th, and 7th, I believe. Jackson County, Ashland, and City of Medford, we are going to be sharing a booth and available to answer your questions and talk to you. So if you're at the home show and you're thinking about purchasing something, there's a lot of vendors there. Come on over and we can answer your questions about permitting. How much are the permits? What types are you going to need? Plans? I mean, what you're going to need for it. I'm going to be there Saturday from 10 to 2. So if you specifically want to see me or City of Medford, 10 to 2 Saturday, I'll be there. Sunday, City of Medford, Nat will be there all day along with City of Ashland. Jackson County will be there on Friday along with City of Ashland. I'm not sure if City of Medford's going to be representing or not, but just stop by and say hi. Say, hey, I heard you on the radio show. We might have something extra to give a handout for people that say,
oh my gosh, that's great.
Kim on the radio show.
That is so awesome. Well, and you guys really know your stuff, and you're very nice, and you're very good at explaining things succinctly and quickly. So it's always a pleasure to talk to that team. So what time are you going to be there again on Saturday,
Be
Kimberly?
there Saturday 10 to 2, manning the booth.
And also Ashland.
Yes, Ashland will be there, and Jackson County.
Very cool.
We're also
cool.
doing a drawing here for Building Safety Month. This big jar of candy. You have to guess how many candies is in this jar to win the jar of candy at the end of May, and a bag of Radis, which I'm not going to disclose what's in here. It's just kind of just a fun little giveaway to celebrate Building Safety Month. Everyone is willing, can come in and fill out, guess how many candies. June 1st, I believe, I will be announcing the winner, and you get all this candy. You can be hyper.
What kind of candy is it?
It's chocolates.
Oh, way to go.
Chocolate coins. Yeah, a whole thing of chocolate coins.
That's awesome. Are you going to take that to the home show and let people guess there?
You know, I'm not going to this year because I'm not there the whole entire time.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not manning it the whole time. So it'll just be at the front counter of community development, which is building, planning, business licenses, and public works engineering departments. We all share the big counter up there. The lobby's been remodeled. You do need to sign in when you come in, no matter.
Yeah, and that's good. Yeah, that's a good thing.
You have to sign in, and then we'll help you.
Yeah, so stop by the front counter at City of Medford and guess how many chocolates, and you can get some swag and get the chocolates. So yeah, we're definitely all going to come in, and I'm assuming you can only enter once.
Yep, you can only enter once.
Okay.
Yep. But it'll be just something little and fun.
Oh, that's awesome for Building Safety Month. In the few minutes we have left, Kimberly, we off and on talk about the 3D housing project that's happening in Medford. Do you have any news about that?
We're discussing with them the master plan program, because they're going to be doing a few different plans. And what the master plan is for any builders or developers in a specific subdivision that are going to be repeatedly doing the same plan. They
Okay.
can apply for master plans, and that's where we review the plans up front. And then when they're ready to submit for that specific house, they submit the pre-approved plans. It gets your time frame through the system quicker. The building department will get your permits reviewed within a 3-day turnaround time using the master plan program. So it's good. It's not good for if you're using the same plan at numerous different developments. It has to be the same development project. So for the 3D housing complex, they are going to be having, I can't remember how many different plans they have, 5 to 7. There could be more different
Wow, that's
plans.
quite a few.
It is, because they're, and they're going to be, we're going to be preparing the master plans for them so that we could get their plans out quicker. I did say there was a 15-day turnaround time on residential plans, but if we can knock that down for you to 5 days,
Wow.
then that's, and building department sticking with our 3-day turnaround time on our review. But it's not just the building department that reviews plans.
When will you know how many of these 3D houses are going to be built?
I'm sure there is knowledge somewhere. I don't know off the top of my head.
But that'll be part of their plan that they present to you guys?
That is in the works with planning, and I believe it's already been figured out how many units. I just don't know off the top of my head how many there is.
Well, and it's still pretty early on, so I'm sure maybe next time when you guys come on the radio show, we'll talk more about that. So, but does the building department have any concerns about the technology or the actual construction of 3D houses? Because I don't know if people are aware. I think this is the first one in the city of Medford, isn't it, to use that 3D technology?
Absolutely. So Sam just popped in because
Hi, Sam.
So there's going to be 36 to start and a total of 80.
Yes. Wow.
Yes.
That's a lot.
Yes. And a total of 80 and I believe it's 2 subdivisions, but I could be mistaken on that.
Well, that would make sense. Yeah. If you're going to end up with 80, that would make sense. Wow. And then, because it's new technology, how did the building department feel about this?
It's exciting. We like new construction methods. They're going to change every 3 years anyway with our code cycles. So we might as well jump the gun on that. And it's very exciting. I mean, it's one of the few places that's been doing this. So it's actually an honor to be able to offer this program and be, one of the first people in the first in Southern Oregon, and possibly, I think there's one up south, but I'll take second.
Well, and I think it speaks again to, even though we're kind of a small town, we really are at the forefront of a lot of really cool stuff. And I remember when the Jackson County tax assessor started putting all the tax stuff online, and that was kind of a big deal for such a small town. And your website is extremely robust for such a small town. So we only have about 30 seconds left. How do people get a hold of you, Kimberly?
Okay, so if you need to email the building department, it's building@cityofmedford.org. You can always go on our website. Everything's on there to get in contact with the different departments. Building department will have a position open soon, so watch City of Medford job openings. So please bear with us. If you've called or you're not getting the prompt response, please leave us a message. We will get back to you. We are short-staffed at the front counter.
But you're great. You guys are great. Thank you so much, Kimberly London, City of Medford Development Services Specialist. Please come back on later in the summer and give us another update.
Awesome. Thank you.
Have a beautiful Southern Oregon weekend, everybody. Hug those you love, and we'll see you next week. Bye now.
Yeah.
And I still have a whole list we could have talked about.
Oh, goodness. Okay.
You're so fun. You're so much fun.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for making the time. Say hi to Sam. And we'll get you a link on Monday morning.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. Have a great weekend.
You too. Hey, before you go, when should we have you guys back?
Let me talk to Sam
Okay.
and see what we can figure out.
Yeah, this is going to be May. So
yeah, we had someone actually promoted. So we had an opening, and our new person starts Monday for one position, and now we have another person at the front counter leaving. So out of 5 positions, we're gonna have 2 newbies. So it makes it, as you know, really hard when you're training. So we'll have to just play it by ear and see how it goes.
Okay, well, maybe later in the summer or early next fall, the legislative session will be over, and yeah. Okay, well, thank you, Kimberly.
Perfect. Thank you.
Talk to you later. Bye.
Bye.